What's going on, everyone? Welcome in, welcome in. What's going on, Gaston? What's going on, Johnny? What's going on, Shibudin? Actually, is that how you say your name? Shibudin? Huh, interesting. That's very interesting. Gaston. Chasing, you have to blame that entirely on Tamakaze. I had nothing to do with that. That is completely on Tamakaze. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm not that worried. I mean, again, it's not options, so I wouldn't really worry. Rami, what's going on? I wouldn't worry about the outer position. It is shares. It's not options, so don't get scared about it. What I mean, if it drops what like $1, I have like 45 shares. I think what I lose $45. I can make that up in one option call. So that's fine. On the note though, my Airbnb play is actually pretty solid. So worst case scenario, my Airbnb play will actually pretty much put me at break even if Adder does tank, and then I'm gonna have to kill Tamakaze pretty much. Can I go over Amazon? Yeah, I'll get over Amazon. Don't worry. It's going to 50. What Bible are you reading? Telling me that Adder's gonna go to 50. What? I don't know what you're smoking, but let me get some of that. I'm hedging myself. Well, I mean, it is a beautiful hedge. Airbnb is at resistance, and then I am in shares, so it kind of negates itself. And I don't know, kind of hard to explain there, but I think both players are actually pretty prime. We'll get there. Don't worry. Let me actually get into futures real quick, and then we'll go through a few charts, and then I'll pretty much babble about my small account towards the end. But looking at futures, we're actually playing out pretty perfectly, as you see with this head and shoulders. And actually, let me get these indicators out of the way so I can expand the chart. So we're still intact with the head and shoulders that I'm looking to have play out. That was a massive candle that we ended up having today. Beautiful bull run. I know that Avery was pretty much probably jumping out of his chair, seeing everything flying because he loves momentum like this. Master Wu, nice to see you, my friend. But days like today, it's hard not to chase. I will say that. There was moments where I saw myself wanting to chase Netflix as I just saw it go straight line up. But this is where you have to control the FOMO. Yeah, it could have probably paid off chasing a name like Netflix, but you don't want to get in the habit of that. Square Moon, Square did moon. That was a beautiful one also. I did actually, the plays that I actually took today was I took Moderna. I know that I had that one on my Twitter for that beautiful breakout. I also had AMD from overnight. I took that swing with the guys. And then I also took one other play. What was the other play that I ended up taking? I took one other play that, oh, Roku was the other play that I was trying to get into. I tried to get into, I got two calls that I got on my main account, so that was just a little bit smaller. And then I'm actually holding a few spreads on it that I had got in earlier in the week, right? But back to futures, we got this nice little push right into near the peak of the right shoulder that I'm projecting. So what's likely going to happen tomorrow is that we're going to end up seeing us pull back just a little bit, but this uptrend is going to hold itself. And so as you see, you're kind of zigzagging yourself up. It's going to be likely a little bit of a pullback here as we see close enough to 436. Maybe we open up a little bit red and then just start to push back up again. So we'll zigzag our way as we go diagonally, in which that's probably going to be a leading diagonal that we're going to be forming here. Okay, so that's what I am expecting for the S&P. Nasdaq is going to look pretty similar, which I can just scroll up and click it here. And so it's the same case scenario here as we do that same zigzag going diagonal, in which we're going to form that leading diagonal. And in that case, when we hit resistance at that right peak of the right shoulder, then it's going to be where we're going to see if it gets ugly or if this pattern does break indeed. Okay. Oh, look, Tamakaze's here, the Mr. ATER, who actually made me FOMO into that after hours. I'll get to you in a moment, don't worry. But again, we're gonna do a little zigzag. We'll see a little bit of a pullback. Hopefully, hope it happens overnight, so that way we just start to push right out of the gate tomorrow morning. But yes, we are due for that a little bit of a pullback. here, and I'm just hoping it doesn't happen at market open, that we don't go sideways and then drop into market open. I would rather have that pullback overnight on futures, which right now is not necessarily happening. But I would rather have that pullback and then push into the morning. Okay. Now getting to a few charts here. Netflix was a beautiful one, and I'll show you the breakouts. And what I'm actually noticing right now is that there's a lot of breakouts that are going to actually be retesting. And I can actually push this out just a little bit, give you a better formation here. We saw Netflix make that massive candle right out of that falling wedge. That was a massive candle. I wanted to chase that so much during the day. I just didn't want to do that. I would rather wait for this pullback. So this next candle, I am expecting to get that nice pullback. We can get a nice pullback right into that 583 level, close enough to 582. We may tap 582 right onto that support level, and that'll be where I would look to go long. And I can see this run right into that 600. All right, so that's what I'm going to be looking for into tomorrow. I'm just glad I didn't FOMO into it today because you don't want to chase. I mentally I prepared myself that I didn't want to chase anything today, even though I saw everything looking set to moon. It literally mooned. I didn't want to chase on anything, right? So that's one. I'll look for that retest. The other one I do have my eyes on is also on Twilio, and I think this looks a little bit better on the daily. I have my eyes on this one. I know that liquidity is a little bit more tough on this one, but I do like this double bottom formation right around that 331.71 level. So I want to see that next candle form that uptrend. I would like to see it above the body of this candle right here, above that 353 level, and that would be beautiful to start this right side of this double bottom. Okay, so that's one that I am really looking into because I know that once this starts to push, you could see this type of move that's right in this area right here. We could potentially see this type of push right here. If that ends up making that body over that 353, that's the type of push I'm looking for to get this right side of this double bottom going. All right, that's another one. Scrolling down my list, I don't know why I had UPS on here. Actually, I did see why I had UPS on here. UPS I actually have on my radar after that debacle that they had with FedEx, where they both ended up dropping. And if I'm not mistaken, Tamakaze actually tried he got into FedEx. It just didn't work out too well, if I'm not mistaken. Or I could be confusing it with another ticker. But I'm going to be looking for this one to get to the support. As you see, it has a pretty defined support level. So this is one I actually want to see it come down to the support level near that 179 level. And then I'm going to look to scale into a position at that point in time right off the support and then take that ride right up. Okay. So the key entry point is getting in at the support level, which will be a lower risk. You didn't? Okay. So I probably confused it with another ticket in Tamakaze. So again, support level is the key here for that entry. And that's why I actually have it highlighted here. And it's in red because I know it's going to come down to that support level. And I'll be watching that one. Let's see what else I had. This was a monster one today. And I can probably go down to the 1 hour. I actually saw this starting to push. I saw it curl when it went green. And I was like, that looks like a beautiful swing play. It just took off too quick, too fast. And I'm sure someone chased it. And they probably made probably a boatload of money off of it because that was a really quick move. But I couldn't do it. When I saw it moving right into close, I was like, that's moving way too fast, too quickly. That is going to likely pull back by morning. And so as you see the breakout here on the defined resistance level, it's likely going to see some kind of pullback here, likely to this close enough to the 112 level. And then we'll get that push. I do have my resistance levels. We're looking like the first target is 117.36. And then the next level I'm looking at would be around that close enough to 120 would be that target level that I'm looking at. So kind of similar to the Netflix where you have that massive candle that just broke out of the falling wedge. Same scenario here. And so you're looking for that retest to get that continuation for the uptrend. Okay. Next one I have noted. I don't know why I have DKNG here, but maybe this is another one that's coming down. See if we scale out on the time frame here. Why I'm keeping an eye on this one? Okay, I see why I was keeping an eye on this one. This is another double bottom formation. And if I'm not mistaken, yesterday Dougie was actually mentioning that DraftKings looks like a fat drop. And as I noticed, it actually had a prior formation very similar. And as you see, it got right down to the middle of the entire pattern. And it actually had the same body wick where it drops down there. And then it just started a massive bull run. I'm kind of watching for the same scenario here. So that's why I have it in red. I want to see if it's actually going to come down further or if we end up holding here and this is going to start some type of bull run for DraftKings. So I think it is at a key level right now at this point, similar to what it had prior. And that's what I'm going to look to see how it works around this key level, right around this 52 level, the mid 52 level, to see if we end up seeing this come back down further or if we end up seeing that bounce take place. If we end up getting that bounce, that key level that I'm looking for to get right back over would be that 56 level. Over that 56 level, then we will see this likely start to take that bull run. I don't expect this type of steep bull run. That's not the type of run that I'm expecting, but I wouldn't mind doing some spreads on this and going out 2 to 3 weeks on this type of play where it actually holds that key level and then we see a follow through on that double bottom. Okay, that's why I had that one highlighted. Other than that, I know that someone did mention Amazon, so I will take a look at Amazon. Let me actually get down to the lower time frame actually. I was actually watching a little bit of a rising wedge formation here, if you want to say. I'm actually watching the key level of 33.95. That's the key level for me, where this is likely going to pull back just a little bit at some point tomorrow to get that to that support level. And then we'll see that push right into that 33.95 level. And I want to see if that's actually going to break over that. And then Tamakazi's massive bull run on Amazon could start because he has this going to like 4,000 if I'm not mistaken by the end of the year, which is insanity. I don't know why. But that 33.95 level again is key. If not, we're likely going to see this end up breaking that support level and coming in just a little bit before we see a retest after the breakdown of support and then maybe some a little bit of chop before it picks a directional move. Okay, it could end up breaking down on this wedge and then we retest that 33.95. That's highly possible. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye on that 33.95. I'll have an alert set on it. So if it ends up breaking over that, I'll definitely be in calls for Amazon. All right. Let's see what else there was. Space and Apple. I haven't looked at Apple at all actually. I definitely did not look at Apple. I know the last time I looked on Apple, it actually triggered on leap alerts. If I'm not mistaken, was that that was last week actually. It triggered on leap alerts from the algos, and I understood why because it actually held a beautiful trend line. If I actually scale out for those of you that missed it, this is the trend line that triggered that leap alert for calls. You see it held that trend line right there, right in the middle, and now we're getting that beautiful bounce as it wicked off on that trend line support. So now we're getting that bounce is what we're looking at. Going back into the lower time frame here, we see that we filled that gap. So we got that gap fill right over that 146.31. And so now we're gonna see a little bit of a consolidation, I would expect here. A little bit of a pullback right into that gap fill. And then we're gonna get a little bit of consolidation before that next leg higher, in which we're gonna see this try to push right towards that 146 level and just get beyond that. Once that gets beyond that 146 level, then I'm looking at 148. Okay, but a little bit of consolidation here is likely in place for tomorrow, and then that'll be where either we could also retest that trendline support, or we get over that 146 and we see that uptrend continue. Okay. What other plays? Roku was also another one. I know that Avery's actually in Roku. He's actually swinging, I believe, two calls in Roku on the small account. which I didn't. I'm still patiently waiting on this one, and this one seems like it's a little bit more of a patience that it's gonna take to get the move that we want. I'm targeting that 330 by the end of the week here. That's my target. That's actually very conservative. I know that Avery actually has a 340 target for tomorrow. If that happens, I may go bananas. I'm not sure because 340 from 324, Roku would definitely be alive at that point. But as we saw, we got that nice breakout. We got the beautiful retest. We wicked down for that retest, and we're getting a little bit of a consolidation here on this breakout. So we want to see this get over this level of that 325 and hold 320 above 325. If I'm looking, this is actually 326. Okay, 326 is that level. We want to see it break out and hold over that 326. Over that 326 level, then I'm looking at 331, and above that, I'm looking at that 340 that Avery has intact. Okay, so those are the two levels. I'm hoping that consolidation ends tomorrow. I want to see that next candle get over that wick, over that 326, and that's going to start that run for Roku. The other name that I know that's been on the radar is also AMD off of the alert that we had. This one's a little bit more tough to me because it looks like it's right at resistance. So this could come in just a little bit before retesting to make that breakout. That's why I'm a little bit more conflicted on AMD just yet. So I did take my profits today on AMD. I believe Tamakaze actually took whatever profits he had from that swing he had. And Avery, the last update I saw, Avery's actually still holding AMD. But again, he did get in at a lower cost, so he does have a little bit of a cushion. I saw that he is green on it. But I'm looking for a little bit of a dip and then a retest before this does get that breakout. Once we do get that breakout, then I'm looking at 104, and my next level would be right around that 108. So those are the two targets that I'm looking at. But to see this actually just push right through, that would be a beautiful sign. I just don't see that happening just yet, and that candle's not very convincing to me. So I'm looking a little bit for a drop down and then a beautiful retest. So I would expect this to actually retest right around that 104 level. The low, that'll be 103. Right around that 103, 103.42 would be right around that level where it actually pulls back and then gets that next candle to get that breakout. Okay. Other than that, those are the names that really stood out to me. Nothing else catched my eye today other than that ugly ticker that Tamakaze is following. It's called ATER. And I didn't want to chase this, to be honest with you. The only reason I did chase this just a little bit was because of the fact that it shares. So I'll be here for the squeeze. If it ends up happening, it doesn't happen. But I was looking at this wedge right here. We have this expanding triangle. I did highlight a key level. If this breaks below that 1635, I will exit. If it holds this, then I'll stay in with my shares. But that 1635 is a key level for me. So I definitely want to see it hold that level. And then the supply zone, if you want to say that, would be that 1809 level is what we need to break over. 1809 would be that level where this would end up pushing this past that 20. And then we'll see that FOMO that Master Wu can actually enjoy because I'm sure he's actually in this ticker as well, along with probably over 150 people following Tamakaze. But that around that 18 level would be where I want to see this break out above it. So that's what I'm actually here for, is that bigger picture of getting over that 18 level. Above that 18 level, we're going to see this break right out of this wedge, out of this triangle, if you want to say expanding triangle, and the FOMO will start to kick in. Okay. But below that 1635, that'll be my stop loss. If it breaks that 1635, I will cut, and then I'm going to have to wait probably 2 days to get my option buying power back for following Tamakaze. The FOMO hit hella hard. God bless Kazi and Adder. They better bless him because if this doesn't work out, I may have to kill him. So we'll hope for the best. Otherwise, I will probably blow up his DMs tomorrow if this ends up tanking. Okay. Luckily, I'm not on live, so I can call him out. But it is what it is. I got one runner left from today's pump. Only one, and I just loaded the entire boat. Are you serious right now? Wow, my guy. You literally left one runner and I just loaded the boat. Okay, that's interesting. All right. That's fine. Don't worry. I got balls to take it. It's all right. Don't worry. I got this. I can handle this all by myself. Don't worry. But hopefully you guys had a great day. Today was definitely a day for calls. If you chased, you got extremely lucky on quite a few names. The Squares of the world, the Netflix of the world, even the AFRM, because that was a beautiful close on that as well. But that wraps up our session tonight, guys. I went through quite a few tickers, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like I said, I'm expecting some sort of pullback on Nasdaq and on SPY, and then we'll hopefully get that uptrend right at opening gate. So I do want that pullback tonight. Although Nasdaq is really just tearing it apart, it's just mooning right now. I was hoping to get a pullback tonight, maybe open even flat and then moon tomorrow morning, but this just decided to gap up. We at this point we may gap up and then start to push down right at open, which I don't like. All right. Other than that, that wraps up our night, guys. I know that you guys are calling out for tickers. I'll see if I actually post them on my Twitter, and you guys can check it out there. I see Disney, I see FedEx, so I'll check them out and I'll try and post it on my Twitter. I see Spot also, so don't worry, I didn't miss you guys. But I'll try and post it on my Twitter for you guys. So if you guys follow me, you'll see those charts up there. But other than that, you guys have a good night, and we'll be back here tomorrow then. All right, guys? Take care.